Auvbri here, and welcome back to another speed build here in The Sims 4. Today we're building a modern desert oasis mansion, and as you can see we already have the shell here. I didn't actually want to show off the shell being built because it's a very basic shell. I just spent so much time going around and trying to figure out the color scheme of this build, but we finally set on orange and black, and I thought that looked really cool with these wooden textures as well. So this house is located in Oasis Springs in one of the base game worlds of The Sims 4. And I don't know about you guys, but I love building in Oasis Springs. I just think it's such a cool world. There's so much diversity here compared to the other base game world, and you can really get away with making some really cool builds in this world as well. So we're working on the window/door locations here, and I just thought, you know what? Let's just make this ultra super modern, very minimalist inside as well. So that's what we tried to do here. This is a two-bedroom apartment, or not apartment, a two-bedroom house with one office area. We have a big downstairs area with two living spaces, a big dining room and kitchen area as well. And then we have a big bathroom on the first floor as well. So we have the ground floor, which is just mostly the living spaces and kitchen dining room areas. And then we have the first floor, which is the rest of the rooms. We also have all of these balconies/deck areas around the place. And I really wanted to work with terrain tools because I feel like not a lot of people actually use them in The Sims 4. And I can kind of get why. It's a very difficult tool to actually get into. I still think it's a very difficult tool, and I have been building in The Sims since forever. So I feel like the tool in The Sims 4 here is very difficult to build with compared to previous games, but it is a very powerful tool once you actually figure out how to, you know, make it work to your advantage. In the front here, again, I'm trying to build with terrain tools, but it is very difficult. And I was trying to figure out how do we want the staircase placements to be. Also, because there is some weird thing with the terrain tools that you can actually paint the sides. So you can kind of see the sides here in this still shot that they kind of have like this rock formation to them. You're not able to actually paint that with terrain paint, and you're not able to put tiles on it either. So you just kind of stuck with that terrain color. So when I initially did that, I totally forgot about this fact. So I actually changed it up, made it look a bit more smooth around the edges, and tried to cover things up with rocks and plants and stuff like that. When people often ask me, how do you landscape? When I start landscaping in the games, I try to think about, okay, so what type of build do I want this to be? And when I have that in mind, it's a very good idea to also look at the surrounding areas. So the Sims team actually placed a lot of plants and stuff around the world, so it looks okay from around different angles. So that is a very good way for you to actually, you know, figure out what looks good in this world, what would fit in, stuff like that. And that's kind of how I start out by landscaping. I just look at the surrounding plants in the area, and I've been playing around The Sims for so long now that I just kind of know what plants goes where in which world. But sometimes it's a very nice, you know, little thing that you can just look around the surrounding areas and what the Sims team actually placed down when they build, because then you kind of get this mixture between your own style and you can kind of see what fits in the world as well, which is a like, it's the best advice I can give you. Starting with the landscaping here, trying to cover up this terrain area, and I also wanted it to look very rock-ish, but not like too overly grown. I will say that I don't know why, but the things that almost always takes me the longest time is the landscaping. And getting the general shape of the house. I'm fairly quick at doing the interior work because I usually know once the outside is done what I want to do. I know a lot of builders do it the other way around, where they're like, okay, so let me just get the basic shell down here and start the inside, and then we can do the exterior afterwards. But I work the other way around. I can kind of see what the interior is going to be like when I have finished the exterior. Sounds very weird, I know, but it works for me, and I feel like do what works for you, and then you're gonna be fine. Rock formations here on the side as well, just to blend in the area. And I was trying to see if we couldn't smooth out with some terrain tools here, but you can kind of see some of the terrain paint didn't actually stick because it started going into that weird terrain rock thingy when it gets too steep. So I didn't really like that, so I covered it up with some plants as well, some greenery, because we are in the desert. It's very important to have some greenery around the place here, otherwise it just starts to look really damp and drab. I also really love putting greenery here in our Oasis Springs because it makes the build stand out. So you might have this huge desert build like we have here, but you can make it look very fancy if you put in greenery like we have here. I wanted to have a little pool area in the back. Now this is where having those platforms that will actually come in the next update is going to be perfect, because you can see I did something with the staircase here leading down to the pool area, but that's not actually what I intended to do. It's just the only way that I could do what I wanted to do. And we also built a what do we call it, a vacation getaway house on stream a couple of nights ago, and we actually had to stop with the exterior work on that build because I was like, you know what, I can finish this as soon as the update is out, then I know exactly what to do. I'm adding some detailing here on the sides of the houses and stuff like that, just to make it a bit more modern. And I will say that I still love the eco lifestyle expansion pack. All of the items that came with that pack are just phenomenal. Like, I am still in love with those items, and I think they are just the best. Like, they fit in with so many things. They're modern, they're contemporary, they work with tiny houses, they work with big mansions. It's a very, very good pack for builders. And one thing I really love about building on live streams is that I can always get the help of you guys, and that's what we also did on this one. So you guys came with some different ideas to what we could do with the size of the house, because I was thinking it was looking a bit bland and I wanted to add a bit more detailing to it. So we started putting in all of these trims around the places and plants on the side of the buildings and stuff like that, just to really tie everything together. And I just think the exterior is probably one of my favorite builds I've built in a very long time. I love the way that this turned out. Also this hanging plant on the side of the build, just to add some texture to it. And then we move inside. Now, again, as I said before, the whole downstairs area is actually, it's one big area, so there's no actual doorway. Yeah, I don't know, when I plan out the floor plan on my builds, I try to maximize the space, but I also want to how do you say, keep it sort of realistic when it comes to the floor plan. So in the place of the world where I live. Most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, if you have a 2-story house like this one, most of the time the bedrooms will be on the first floor, and all the other stuff like living room spaces, kitchens, and all that stuff will be on the ground floor. And I don't know, I just tried to keep that in mind when I was building this. Also, I wanted to have a super minimalistic build here. Usually when I build, I put in tons of clutter, I put in a lot of detailing and try to make it look very realistic looking. This time around, I really wanted to do something different and try to really contain myself with not too many colors, not too much clutter, and really keep it on the minimal side. And I think that is the best thing that I could have done for this house, is just keeping it very minimal. If there is pops of colors in this build, it is from plants here and there and from paintings on the walls. That's it. I tried to keep it very, very basic with the amount of color that I put into the build. I see that the it's a bit shifted here. There we go. I'm sorry about that, but yeah, the format of the video was just totally wrong on my end here. You shouldn't be able to see it throughout this video now, but I just noticed it, and I'm like, I'm so unprofessional sometimes. I'm really sorry, but you shouldn't be able to notice it throughout this video. It's just because on my editing software side, it was a bit shifted, and the video was too big for the screen. But so I was like, why can't I see the whole thing? But yeah, you see, I wanted to have really minimal amount of stuff in here, as well as colors, and that really translated into the whole build itself. So when I was looking for furniture, for example here for the living room space, I didn't put in any televisions or stuff like that. I do believe that the only actual thing, electronic thing in this build is the what is it called, computer up in the office area, and that's kind of it. I tried to keep everything as minimal as possible with whites and blacks and grays, and then some accent colors that you can see kind of like on the bookshelf here, or like a painting here and there, and that's it. I really wanted to not like Auvbri it up and over clutter it like I usually do, which was actually very much a challenge for me, because I see all of these furniture that I love in this game, and I'm like, god damn, I want to use that, or that would look so perfect here. I also wasn't sure about that painting, but it just added, like with the yellow in there, it just added this nice little pop of color in this otherwise very minimalist room. Going into the kitchen here, again, we have some pops of colors on the white wall, but that's kind of it. The kitchen is very much grays and dark tones as well, with white elements, and that's kind of it. I also put in something that I never actually used in this game before, but I put in, what is it called in the Sims, like juice, kind of like these wine bar thingies, wine fridges, but it's not wine in the Sims, it's like juice or something. I don't actually know, but I put those in there as a wall as well, and I think it looked freaking awesome. And the temptation to use custom content in this build was just unbearable. So I might have to do some new crest builds real soon to scratch that urge. But again, you can see usually I put a lot of stuff on the walls and in shelvings and stuff like that to really try and make the kitchen look natural, but that was very much a task for me not to do that here, and just, try and really contain myself. But yeah, here we have the wine fridges. I thought that looked really awesome. And then the dining room area, and you can see there, you might think, okay, so there's a lot of empty space and a lot of dead space going around here, but I try to just, you know, have big open spaces with minimalistic feel to it. And the kitchen might be the most unminimalistic place in the build, and that's saying a lot, because I feel like I really tried to spruce it up with the turns here, but still keeping it very much intact with what I was trying to do with the rest of the build. But I couldn't help myself. I just needed a few splashes of colors in here with the lights and stuff like that. And that's kind of it. Like, going up to the bathroom now, that bathroom is, and I don't know, I still don't really like doing bathrooms. I really try and take my time on them and try to do something different with it and really, you know, look at it from a new angle, but I still don't like it. I don't think bathrooms are great, and I've really tried to make something out of it, but you know, and that's just the way that it is. I'm going to delete those curtains because those looked awful. But going up into the bathroom, I tried to keep it in the very, very black tones up there, which was new for me. We had this little deck area here, which could just be a nice little barbecue area. And yeah, the bathroom, you're going to see that in the video tour. So we have the office area here. Now, this was a very weirdly angled room because it was on an angle in the first place, and I tried to work around that. So I thought, you know what, having this little nice office area where you can kind of have the office on the one side and go in and then have people sit down in front of the desk, I thought that was a nice idea. Again, keeping in the tones here, very much white tones. Very neutral looking items in here and not too much clutter. I try to again keep it on a very, very minimal base. And the last room that we're actually going to do is a master bedroom. So I left one bedroom open that you can do with whatever you like. If you want to move in a teenager or another adult or whatever you might like, rent it out. We can do that now as well. If you have the what is it called, university pack, you can have a roommate who can help with the rent and stuff like that. So that's also really cool. But yeah, this is the last room, and I'm actually going to leave you guys to the video tour yourself. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. It is up on the gallery right now, so just search my origin ID, Auvbri, and you should be able to find every single build that I have done. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Remember to subscribe, like the video, and share it with your friends, and I hope to see you next time for another video. Have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world. Bye.